Whether you're a racing enthusiast or a drift master, getting the right force feedback out of your steering wheel is crucial to have good control over the car. Are you finding it hard to set the perfect force feedback settings for your wheel in Gran Turismo 7? In this guide, I will show you how to tweak these settings to unlock the full potential of your wheel and get the ultimate in-game experience. Please note that the voice you are hearing is generated by an AI and may sound unnatural in some instances. First things first. Many would argue that the controller sensitivity setting doesn't affect the wheel and that it's just there to be used for controllers. Wrong. If you're using a steering wheel, it's very important that you set the controller sensitivity to 5. Why? Let me show you. If I set the controller sensitivity to 1, this will happen. The front end of the car will not follow the front wheels right, and it will actually turn less than it should at some point. Or maybe there is some sort of delay, but there are clearly some moments where you see the front wheels turning more than they should with respect to the change of direction of the car's front end. And also, that's not just normal understeering. If you can't clearly see what I'm talking about, at least you should be able to see that there is something off and unnatural in the behavior of the car. Not only that, but you will also feel some sort of delay in the force feedback, which is the result of this lowered sensitivity. Now again, what happens when I set the controller sensitivity to 10? The front end of the car will also not follow the front wheels right, but this time it will actually turn more than it should at some point. It's like something is grabbing the front end of the car and moving it independently from the front wheels. And again, if you can't clearly see what I'm describing, at least you should be able to see that there is something off and unnatural in the behavior of the car. And this time this behavior is different than the previous case. And not only that, but you will also feel something very weird and non-realistic in the force feedback, which is the result of this amplified response of the car. Now let's compare what we saw to when I set the controller sensitivity to 5. This time the car looks like it's moving very naturally and realistically, following the front wheels exactly like it should. Moreover, the force feedback now feels much more intuitive and close to what you would feel in a real car. Your steering wheel will feel directly connected with the front wheels at all times, and the responsiveness of the front end of the car will feel directly connected with the front wheels' movements, not preceding it nor lagging behind. Now if you set the controller sensitivity to 4 or lower, you will get the same effect as when you set it to 1, but with different severity. Similarly, if you set it to 6 or higher, you will get the same effect as when you set it to 10, but with different severity. And you will only have 1-to-1 responsiveness when you set the controller sensitivity to 5. And this is very important to always be in control and always feel what the front end is doing at all times. Moreover, this is only how you get highly realistic physics in the game. So, if you're an experienced driver using a steering wheel and want to have that edge over your opponents by being fully in control, or if you're just looking for the most realistic driving experience possible, I highly recommend that you keep the controller sensitivity at 5. The second setting that you should adjust is the force feedback sensitivity, and this one represents the range of details that you would get from your steering wheel. Lowering this value will only make the steering wheel feel less alive, and you will feel less connected with the front tires. I recommend keeping this one at 10 if you want maximum control over your car. The third and last setting is the max torque, and this is the only setting which I believe should be adjusted differently depending on which wheel you're using. But before you start tweaking and testing with this setting, you should first set the controller sensitivity to 5 and the force feedback sensitivity to 10 in order to not get misleading results. I'm currently usually using max torque at 6 on my new Thrustmaster TGT2. I had to set this value to 10 for my old Gi-29 for it to be able to keep up, given the relatively low torque of its motors. Many people would argue that this would create clipping of the forces provided by the game. But this is the best setting to use if you want to have max possible control when driving using this wheel. Because what's most important are the fine details of the lower forces when you start turning the wheel away from the center. These are the forces to count on when driving on the edge of the grip at the front tires. And they're the forces that let you know when you are starting to lose grip, or when the rear end starts to step out when driving a rear-wheel drive car. And the lower you set the max torque for weak steering wheels, such as the G29, the more you will lose important low-level forces from the feedback. I hope the information in this video was valuable to you. If you have any further questions or feedback, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on my latest tutorials and action-packed videos. Thanks for your support.